Okay, so I'm going to go through the velocity time graph example that we did in the lesson. So we said the start speed was 0 meters a second, then after 4 seconds the object accelerated to 129 meters per second, then after another 0.4 seconds, the object then decelerated down to 103 meters per second, and finally after a further 9 seconds the object stopped, so 0 meters per second. So the task was to sketch a graph. Now when we say sketch a graph, what we mean is literally draw as little as possible. So label your axes still, so velocity or speed and time. So to start with, for the first 4 seconds, so put a 4 there, the object accelerated to 129 meters per second. So something like that. I'll label that point A. Then, after another 0.4 seconds, so that takes the time to 4.4 seconds, add the two together, the object decelerated down to 103, and then finally after a further 9 seconds, so add 9 to 4.4, so 13.4, the object stopped. So we can put 0 just there. So the task was, first of all, to find the acceleration or deceleration at each point. So the equation for that acceleration is change in velocity, so that's end velocity minus start velocity, and that's divided by the time taken at that point. So if we start with point A, the end speed or velocity was 129, take away the start, which is 0, and the time taken was 4 seconds. So 129 divided by 4 should give you, I think, 32.25 meters per second squared. For point B, this time it's decelerating, so just be aware that if you're talking about acceleration it will give you a negative number. So the end velocity, well that's that bit there, 103, minus the start velocity, 129. Time taken, well, we're talking about that time just here, so 0.4 seconds. So that should give you minus 26 over 0.4. So you can use your calculator, which gives you minus 65 meters per second squared. Then point C, again it's decelerating, the speed's getting less, so the end velocity 0 because it's stopped, take away the start velocity, so that's 103, and the time taken 9 seconds, so that's minus 103 over 9, and again you put that in your calculator. So that gives you minus 11.4 meters per second squared. Second part of the task in the lesson was to use the graph to find the total distance travelled. Now, if you remember back to one of the first lessons, speed equals distance divided by time. If you rearrange that so that you're trying to find the distance, that's just the same as speed times time. Now if you look at the axes, what we've got is we've got velocity or speed and we've got a time. Now if you multiply the two together, that gives you a distance. So using maths, what we can say is the area underneath the line, if you add all the bits together, that will give you the total distance travelled. So if I just get a separate sheet of paper, cover that up to make space. So if we look at triangle A, if we're trying to find the area of that triangle, in maths we would do half base times height. So the base of the triangle, the width of the triangle, is 0.4. Sorry, 0 to 4, so 4. The height of the triangle is 129. So we do 129 times 4 divided by 2. So the distance travelled in the first 4 seconds is 258 metres. The next part, well, you can see it's an odd shape, it's a trapezium, so that side is longer than that side. So what I recommend you do is split it up into 2 pieces, so you can have a triangle and a rectangle. So if we look at the triangle first, the height, 129 and 103, so the difference is 26. The width starts at 4, ends at 4.4, so 0.4. And again, as before, a half base times height. So 0.4 times 26 divided by 2. And I think that comes to 5.2 metres. The rectangle, so that's this part here now, so I've split it into the 2 shapes. We're looking at the rectangle. The height is 103. The width is still 0.4, same as the one above. So 103 times 0.4. There's no dividing by 2 here, because don't forget the area of a rectangle is just the base times the height. So 103 times 0.4 gives you 41.2 metres. So in this part of the journey, the total distance travelled is these 2 areas added up. So 41.2 and 5.2, so 46.4. This bit, the final triangle, the width, or the base, is 9. The height is 103. So again, half base times height. So we've got 9 times 103, and then divide that by 2. So that gives you 463.5 metres. So to find the total distance travelled, it's a case of adding up the 4 numbers, the 4 segments, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you add those together, 258 plus 5.2 plus 41.2 plus 463.5 gives you a total distance of 767.9 metres.